Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deanna Made. On this episode, we're honored to be talking with Maggie Bookout. She is a shot put throw over here, and I'm telling you right now, I've run track and field for most of my life, but I haven't done a lot of shot put throwing, so we got a lot of questions for you. So how's it going?
It's so great. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. How's it going over there?
It's so great. Yeah. Nothing much really lately, just trying to get working in the rain. So it's been pretty productive. So that's always good.
So I don't know. I have to double check with my producers, but I think you're the first guest here on Ford High School Weekly that we've talked that's homeschooled. So how tell us a little bit about that. How was that experience for you, and have you been homeschooled for a majority of your life, or is this something that's kind of new for you?
Yeah, so this is my first year in high school to homeschool. I homeschooled up until 6th grade when I was younger, and then I went into, your normal school. And then after my freshman year, I started to travel a lot more for track. And so I was like, I think I'm going to give it another go. And it's been really great for me this year. I've just loved it.
So that was going to be my next question. I mean, you were homeschooled up until 6th grade, then you went to normal school like every other kid. What was the kind of the change and all that?
Yeah, so it really wasn't that big of a shift for me, to be honest. I'm a pretty social butterfly, so I kind of just hopped in just pretty normally. It wasn't that big of a shift for me, so.
Yeah, I guess at that age, it's more of like instead of who's the new girl, it's like you see new people come in every year. I mean, move-ins and transfers and move out. So the kids kind of warm up to you, or was it a struggle meeting new people, having new friends?
No, it was really great. Everyone there was super awesome, and it was super easy transition for me. Everybody was super nice. I never had any issues. I was also a lot bigger than everyone else, so.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure you see the biggest kid on the yard, you're not going to want to mess with her.
Yeah, exactly.
So what led to the change this year? I mean, you went from 6th grade on to being in school, and then this year you decide to go back to homeschool. What led to that change?
So after my freshman year, I really started going to a lot of bigger meets at a lot of different colleges. And so during the winter, I'd be gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday, almost every weekend for all of January and into February. And then spring started, and it just kind of got hard just with the amount of days you can miss and everything. So I just decided that it'd just be easier for everybody to come home this year. And it's been really nice, especially in that area. Even though COVID's definitely changed the schedule and all that, I'm still really happy that I did it. So.
Yeah, it kind of seems like there's no difference for everybody around the state. It seems like everybody's been homeschooling at this point. So you're kind of just taking the official title, that is.
Yes, definitely.
So let's go ahead and get to your athletic career. How did you come about track? When did you first start throwing the shot put and throwing the discus, and how did that all come about?
So, my uncle and my dad and all of them threw in high school, and then my 2 uncles in college. So I'd always, known about track and all that good stuff. So after I started playing competitive volleyball when I was about 10 years old, and then I started track when I was 12. And it just kind of was a Thanksgiving, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to try this. And so we went out into the backyard, and they kind of taught me the basics, and it just kind of grown a ton from there. So that's about how it started.
So one Thanksgiving, your dad and your uncle just show you how to throw the shot put, huh?
Yeah, I was like, we were in the garage, and there was a discus laying out there, and I was like, hey, I think I want to learn this. And so we went to the edge of the sidewalk, and that's how it all started.
So wait, did you please tell me you threw the discus on a field and not just on the edge of the sidewalk?
No, definitely. There was a field, some yard that I threw it onto, and no houses were hit, thankfully, since I was like 12 years old. So.
Oh, don't worry about that. Insurance takes care of all that.
Yeah, that's right. That's what my thought process was too.
So you mentioned that your dad and your uncle kind of was the ones that kind of showed you the ropes, but I mean, from what I can tell in your family tree, you got a number of athletes that kind of have paved the way for you. Can you share a little bit with us about that?
Yeah, so my dad played baseball and football at OU, and then my mom, she played volleyball at OU, and both of my uncles played sports at OU. And then on my mom's side, actually, her sister played volleyball at Texas. My uncle Josh was a swimmer and Olympian at Texas. And then there's about 6 female athletes on my mom's side that played sports collegiately. And then Taylor Cornelius, who was the quarterback at OSU, I think the year before last, he's my like second cousin. So and then my brother plays baseball at OSU. So it's kind of a crazy dynamic.
I think out of all the family members you mentioned, I think Taylor Cornelius and your brother might be my favorites of the two. I wonder why. Just a little bias. But that's awesome. So speaking of those Thanksgivings and those family get-togethers, I'm guessing those after dinner activities get pretty competitive, huh?
Yeah, the games of horse on the book outside after dinner, It's just every once in a while, one of the little ones will want to play, hit some balls off the tee. So definitely some stuff going on after dinner. So it does get intense. Everything's a game. The wrapping paper off of the presents gets thrown across the room. So
I bet it sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah.
Homeschool gives Maggie the flexibility to follow her dreams. When Ford High School Weekly continues. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're joined right now by Maggie Bookout. Maggie, you mentioned that you started doing a lot of traveling during freshman year for track and going to a lot of big meets, and it was the reason why you decided to go back to homeschooling so you could travel a little bit more. What are some of those big meets that you've been to, some of the big stadiums, big atmospheres that you've been a part of? Just share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah, so my biggest one I've been to so far has been the Texas A&M indoor meet. And then I've been to the Arkansas indoor, OU, Air Force, AAU Nationals outdoor, AAU Nationals indoor. So those are some of the biggest ones I've been to so far. But coming up on June 30th, I will be hopefully going to Oregon to throw. So I'm going to try to qualify for that this weekend, and that'll be the biggest stage I've ever thrown on.
Wow, Oregon. So that will be the Olympic trials for you, or?
So no, that's just it's just a meet, just a high school nationals.
Yeah, okay. So I was like making sure that I'm not disrespecting you. Are we going for the Olympics right now?
No, not even close. That's a post-college thing. But yeah, it's just a Nike Nationals NSAF that's going on up there. It's gonna be the best throwers in the nation will all be there. So I'm excited. I just need to qualify for the shot, and I'll be good to go.
So let's go ahead and stop the humbleness right now. Let's go ahead and brag on you a little bit. So nationally, give me all your rankings, your best throws, all the good stuff.
Yeah. So my PR in competition is 42 feet 2 inches, and then my PR in the discus is 148.4. And nationally, that ranks me in the top 5 in both, I believe, for my sophomore class. So,
well, that's pretty impressive. I mean, it's a top 5 in both categories. Can't mess with that, huh?
Thank you so much. Yes.
So what is the travel like with that kind of, up and down throughout the state and you don't have a team, so it seems like you're going individually with your parents. How's that?
So yeah, I do a lot of stuff through Storm for just spring school type stuff. So I'll go under them and score points for them because they have their own little homeschool track team. Mm-hmm. And then I'll try to go where the best throwers go. So 2 of my good friends are actually the other 2 best throwers in the state. So I try to go wherever they are.
So what, do you guys book tickets together and just go ahead and stay at the same hotels?
Yeah, so just local meets, they're both in the same class, so it's pretty easy to see like where they're gonna be. But on the national scale, I'll go to colleges and stuff like that, and there's always great competition.
So with you being homeschooled, are you able to, invest more time in these things because you're able to take care of your schoolwork on your own schedule and then practice as much as you need to, or are you trying to keep it the same routine as it was during school?
Yeah, so it's definitely opened up more time for me to train because I finished school. I get up pretty early. I get up at like 7. So I finish school by about 12, and then I have the rest of the day to train. So it's been really nice. I've started working with Daryl Knight through Night Sports Performance for my workouts and stuff like that. So that's definitely opened up more opportunity homeschooling has for stuff like that.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. So let me get this correct. Has volleyball fallen by the wayside now, or are you still competing in that arena as well?
So I quit volleyball after my freshman year so I had played since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
So I started when I was 6, and then I played all the way up to my freshman year, and I played club until my 8th grade year because that's when track started getting a little more intense. So I decided that track was kind of my ticket. So I decided that volleyball was kind of just for fun now. So then I did school ball my freshman year, and we actually made a really good run at state. We ended up getting 3rd, but after that, I was like, I think I'm ready to just focus on track. So now that's all I do.
So did you have any hesitations, specializing in one sport and at such a young age, or did you have any, reservations about, leaving your team behind and just doing exactly what you knew you were the best at?
Yeah, so my parents have always talked to us about like once you know what you want to do in college, that's just you got to stick to that because sometimes I know people personally who've played a bunch of sports which are awesome, but in this day and age, it's really hard to be the best you can be if you're not really specialized, which stinks for a lot. But if I was still in school, I'd probably be playing volleyball. But since I'm homeschooling, I decided to just do track.
Well, I mean, top 5 in both shot put and discus. I mean, I'd say you chose the right thing.
Yes, definitely. It's my love too. So
do what you love.
Yeah, definitely.
Maggie's on the verge of qualifying for the National Scholastics Athletic Foundation Nationals. Ford High School Weekly continues after this. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with Maggie Bookout. Maggie, we mentioned earlier that you will be participating in an event this weekend that's kind of dear to you. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this weekend I'll be doing a meet with Caleb Seal up at East Central High School, and this is one of my few chances to qualify for a Oregon meet. So I'm really excited. I just have to hit 43 feet 6 inches to get to qualify for it, and I'm really excited to get the opportunity to throw.
So is it pressure, or are you like, let me go ahead and kind of gauge here. Are you one of those players or athletes that thrives under that kind of pressure where you need to reach a certain mark or get a certain distance to do and achieve what you wanted? Or is it some pressure and anxiety that you're like, oh man, this is a lot, but I got to go through it?
I love it personally. I feed off of it. It's just like an extra chip on my shoulder. Honestly, going into competition, it's my favorite thing is to get to have that pressure. And I'm also super happy because this weekend I actually hit 45, just like in a practice mock competition. So I'm feeling really confident going into the weekend that I can hit my number. So I'm really excited about it.
Wow. So already hitting 45 is kind of a lot less pressure when you already hit the mark that you need in practice, and you just got to go out in that competition, do what you practice and take care of business.
Definitely. Yes. It's just an extra comfort level.
Well, I mean, is there anything about, because again, not a lot of people know the finer details, but about track and field. Most people see it as a secondary sport where people participate in it to get ready for other sports. But with it being your main love, what are some things that people don't know about track and field that you think our audience should?
Yeah, I think that one of the main things is just how technical track really is. I mean, definitely the most technical is the pole vault, and then the discus, and then the shot. And they were actually one of the first sports ever created in ancient Rome. So it's pretty crazy, honestly, to get a play sport that's been going on for just so long. But definitely people take for granted just the technical side, because they'll be like, "Oh, that's a big kid. Let's throw him into the shot put." And then when the big kid doesn't, hit a state record, they're like, "I don't know what happened. He's the best football player we have," and they just don't take in consideration all the technical side of it. So,
yeah, some people think it's like you throw the fastest guy out there and he's gonna win. You throw the strongest guy out there, he's gonna win. But there's a lot of finer details. I mean, especially long jump, pole vaulting, hurdles. I mean, you got to get your marks down perfect. It's like a science.
It is, definitely.
Yeah, that's one of the things I learned the hard way, especially doing a lot of long jumping.
Yeah.
a lot of DQs on my part. Coach wasn't definitely happy about that.
It happens. It definitely happens.
It certainly does. Well, Maggie, thank you so much for joining us today, and we really appreciate you, and good luck to everything that you do in the future. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you a lot more, especially when it's time for that Olympic trials.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
We'll check out some familiar faces making noise in the 6A track meet when Ford High School Weekly continues.
Oklahoma weather has a way of changing. We've seen muggy mornings become tornadoes and a drizzle become an ice storm. That's why we are bringing no-wait weather to YurView Channel 3. Now, you can stay weather aware with up-to-minute radar for the metro areas. We will watch the Oklahoma skyline for you, and you can plan ahead with hourly and extended forecasts. We won't just tell you what to expect, we will show you all day long. Watch No-Wait Weather on YurView Channel 3.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Let's look at some top performances from the boys' side of the 6A Track Championships. Let's start with one of the big boys. This is Jacob Saxton of Deer Creek. Jacob won the discus with a throw of 175 feet and 5 inches. You might remember him as Deer Creek's excellent offensive tackle. After his senior season this fall, he's going to OU. In the high jump, check out Broken Arrow's Anthony Allen. He cleared 6 feet 3 inches to take first place. Man, that's getting up there. Now, where else would getting up be useful? That's right, the hardwood. He plays basketball for Broken Arrow, and here are some of his sweet dunks from this year. Yeah, that's right. I believe he can fly. In the 4x1, one of my favorites, Union and Westmore went down to the final turn. Union's Jaden Rowe, who's headed to Oklahoma, and AJ Green, who's headed to Arkansas, handled the first 2 legs. Hayden Brockett and anchor Dan Arame brought Union to the finish line first with a state meet record of 40.75 seconds. In the 4x200, Westmore returned the favor as they outran Union to take first place. Kevion Williams brought the Jags in front in the third leg, and Corey Wyatt stretched the lead down the stretch to give Westmore the victory. In the 300-meter hurdles, which is an event that might hurt the most in all these track events, Edmond Santa Fe's Angela Rankin set the pace, finishing first with a time of 38.52 seconds. You might remember his 84-yard kickoff return in the 6A1 championship game. Man, he's got some wheels. In the 100-meter dash, Stillwater's Tevin Williams steadily pulled away from the pack to set the state meet record of 10.2. Hey, maybe he showed off that he could fly too. Then in the 200, Tevin fought off challenges from Jaden Rowe, Josh Bohr, and Corey Wyatt to take that 200. That's a nice double. Speedy Tevin Williams is taking his talent over to Baylor on a football scholarship. Hey, the Baylor Bears might need to find him a spot on that track as well. You can meet the speedster Tevin next week right here on Ford High School Weekly.
3 seconds, 2 seconds at the buzzer on the way. That's good.
Be sure to go to YurView.com/OK for highlights and replays of the Ford Game of the Week. And check out our podcast and past episodes at YurView.com/OK. Only the best in Oklahoma make the Ford High School Weekly. Like Maggie Bookout, one of the best young athletes in Oklahoma. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, Dion Amade.